this calls for a short musical requiem in memory of Jeffrey Dahmer. Nobody understood him in the world. None of the experts, and certainly none of the so-called criminal psychologists. Like most people, he was no different in the fact that we all die alone.
Such a long, long period of time. How did you do it?
You got people that sit back and just watch everything. When you go into a hospital to work, you look at the people. Okay, those people, like maybe they don't have a care in the world, but they do. Those are the kind you sometimes have to watch. I mean, who's to say you're not a serial killer?
That's right.
I mean, you have a fascination with going to talk to them, stuff like that. You might be like Hannibal Lecter, we don't know. But I mean, it's, you don't know.
I won't go into the murder. I won't go into murders if it was self-defense or not. I'm not going into any of the murders, whether or not they died in self-defense or what. I'm not going to say. I'm not saying nothing. My concern, the only reason I'm doing interviews for anybody or anything, my concern is you got law enforcement out there allowing people to die. You got those 50 men in Canada, those 50 women in Canada that died. I'm sure the cops knew who the guy was. They're letting them kill. They want to turn them into high-profile cases for books and movies.
There was one important exception. On May 8th, 1983, the body of Carol Ann Christensen was found. Like the others, she had been strangled, but unlike theirs, her body was clothed and the scene elaborately staged.
Over the years, we've seen lots of bizarre crime scenes. We don't understand all the symbolism of some of the things that he did there.
Christensen had 2 fish, trout, placed on her chest, an empty bottle of wine on her stomach, and sausage on her hands. So bizarre that at first Reichert didn't think her murder fit the Green River Killer's M.O. He was puzzled, worried. Was there a second killer out there? Even Christensen's mother and sister had their doubts.
At the time, we really didn't connect it. And she wasn't found in the Green River. She was found in Maple Valley.
Another time police narrowly missed encountering Gary Ridgway was right after the murder of Carol Christensen in May of '83. Her case had always been the most puzzling to the task force. The rest of the Green River victims were found nude, but she was dressed, and her body was posed. 2 trout were placed on her upper body, an empty bottle of wine on her stomach, and sausage on her hands. At the time, investigators wondered whether this could be religious symbolism, wondered why the killer had carefully chosen these items, wondered what he was trying to communicate. Indeed, some wondered whether this was the work of the Green River Killer at all. The murder scene was so different, even her family thought someone else had killed her.
At the time, we really didn't connect it.
I brought them all out of the fridge right before I left.
When he started to talk, Gary Ridgway demystified the whole scene in a hurry. The items were just stuff he had around the house, not carefully chosen at all, almost an afterthought, tossed in the back of his pickup.
I was just going to put them on her to throw off the task force, make it stand out from the rest of them, so they'd have to think if this is a Green River case or is this not a Green River case. Donning them, playing with them, jerking them around.
Ironically, in taking the time to trip up his pursuers, he almost got tripped up himself. Just as he finished laying out the items on her body and got in his truck to leave, a police car drove by.
He didn't go down that road, otherwise he would have had her that day. He had my description and everything. A week later she was found. And the officer didn't realize it.
No, and that's
You just went that close.
Sometimes their anger was hard to contain.
They spent a whole day after digging. 51 posts on that guardrail for nothing. Take his ass back to the cell, and when you want to start telling the truth, you let us know.
On one occasion, Sheriff Reichert was so exasperated with Ridgway's stonewalling, he literally stared him down. Watch the elapsed time here. More than 5 minutes pass, but staring was the worst they could do.